The Duke of Sussex was reunited with his family for the first time in over a year at Prince Philip's funeral on Saturday. He was spotted chatting to Prince William and Kate, Duchess of Cambridge, in what many hope to be the beginning of the end of their rift. However, he flew back to the US a few days after the wedding, and there is likely still much to resolve between the brothers after the fallout from the Oprah Winfrey interview. The Oprah interview proved very divisive, but what was notable was the generational divide in the reactions to it, with young people tending to side with the Sussexes and older people tending to side with the rest of the royal family. This generational divide also manifested itself in a recent survey on who should become the next monarch with the Queen's reign ends. Delta poll found that adults in Generation Z, 18 to 24-year-olds, would like to see the crown bypass both Prince Charles and Prince William and see Harry take the throne. However, comments and responses to this data eviscerated the position, with royal fans explaining that that is not how it works. They argued that the monarchy is not a democratic system whereby the public can vote for who they want as the head of state, it is a hereditary institution with strict rules. Many Generation Zers, or Zoomers, are now allowed to vote and are influential in how society is developing. They tend to be far more in favor of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle when it comes to their feud with the rest of the royal family, as opposed to older people who tend to side with the Queen, Charles and William. However, Harry is actually sixth in line to the throne, coming after not only his father and brother, but also his niece and nephews Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. Overall, the public were keen for the crown to skip a generation to Prince William. Pod Save the Queen is hosted by Anne Gripper and features Daily Mirror royal editor Russell Myers. Mr. Myers argued that while King Harry may seem like a ludicrous suggestion, it does demonstrate the underlying fact that a lot of young people support the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's way of doing things. He said, "It was quite interesting. Some people were saying, well, that's just not the way it works." The top line was that the public essentially wanted the crown to bypass Prince Charles and be handed straight to Prince William by nearly 2-1. He had a 20-point lead, 47-27, so quite a big gap there across all age groups. But what was absolutely fascinating is when you boil it down to millennials and Gen Zs 18 to 24, the Gen Zs, the youngsters, who are allowed to vote, are really influential in how society is maybe developing. A lot of thinking at the moment, a lot of activism is driven by young people in that sort of age group and arguably younger as well, and they actually wanted it to bypass Charles, William, and wanted Harry to become king. He argued that the result is interesting in learning what young people think of recent events and monarchy in general. However, he also highlighted a major criticism of the poll, which he saw both on the Mirror website, on his personal Twitter and on the Mirror Royal Twitter, which was that this is just not how it works in a hereditary institution. He said, "I think that maybe King Harry might seem like a ludicrous suggestion, but what it does tell you is the underlying notion that a lot of young people really support Harry and Meghan's way of doing things, that they have stood up for themselves, that they have not been bowed to the pressure of the monarchy, that they have gone it alone and seen fit to ditch it and go their own way." And certainly there is a groundswell of support arguably among young people after they did the Oprah Winfrey interview and given their version of events, which is very interesting. And I think the nub of it, whether you agree with it or not, or whether you agree with this poll or whether it should be conducted, is that the monarchy really does need to be careful in terms of evolving with the times. One of the criticisms on this poll, both on the Mirror website, we had a lot of comments, and both on my own personal Twitter and on the Mirror Royal Twitter was, "Listen, this is not how it works, pal. We're in a monarchy, we are not in some kind of democratic system where we can vote for our head of state and it's a hereditary institution."